Hello, as you can see I've got a package delivered this one's from First Light Optics, and it contains a new camera and an adapter so I can change my finder scope into a guide scope. So the camera in here is going to be used for guiding and for lunar and planetary imaging as well. Now before I get going, I just noticed this new sticker on the front from Flow that says "Clear skies guaranteed." And then you look at the fine print and it says eventually, so nice little clause there. First Light Optics, see what you did there? Oh yes. There she blows. Ooh. And what's in there? Haha! So that's everything. This is the camera. And that's my adapter to convert my finder scope. So we'll put the adapter down and we're going to concentrate on this little beauty today, and I'll tell you all about it. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is a ZWO ASI462mc, so it's a colour camera. And it's kind of the successor to the 1290mc, which itself seemed to be the successor to the last camera I had, which is the good old ASI120mc. So this is kind of like 2 steps ahead for me. I can already see it's come with a all sky lens fitted, so I'm really looking forward to testing that out. If it's clear later, I'll be grabbing some shots of the night sky with that, and I'll post them up if they look okay. So very much looking forward to that. I believe it's basically a converted CCTV lens reading the side of it. So that's a 2.1mm lens for CCTV. It'd be, I think it's 150 degrees. So it really is like pretty much all sky. So we'll have a look at that. And let me try and unscrew this so I can show you the sensor in here. It's an array which is 1936 by 1096, so that's full HD, isn't it? So 2.1 megapixels I think it is, and full HD. Actually I think it can rattle off 136 frames per second at full HD resolution, so not bad, although that's not as good as the 1290mc that could do 170. So it's kind of, I think it's going to be a case of swings and roundabouts with this camera. Now the thing that I've heard that this camera is very good at is its sensitivity in the infrared range, and the atmosphere is nice and stable at those longer wavelengths, so it could be quite an interesting camera for lunar and planetary imaging. You can play about with like IR filters. You could have like IR pass filter and just concentrate more on those longer wavelengths. And I'm putting it out of the way, we want to see it, don't we? The quantum efficiency at 850 nanometers, which is in the infrared range, is 90% quantum efficiency, and that compares to 45% to which the ASI 1290 had. So it's twice as sensitive in the infrared. Most people probably pick a mono camera for guiding because it's a bit more sensitive, because you've not got that bare matrix in the way that's cutting out a lot of light. But I think this could be a surprising little camera. I think it's going to be super sensitive because I'm not sure how well the bare matrix is going to see that infrared light. I think it's going to pass quite well through it. So I think it's going to kind of almost act like a mono camera in some ways. Anyway, so what more about the camera? So it's a 12-bit camera, which means it's got 2 to the power of 12 shades between absolute white and absolute black. So that's sort of like its dynamic range, so to speak. And the back focus for the camera is 12.5 millimeters between the front face of the camera there and where the sensor lies. And what else is it? Oh yeah, the well depth. So for those that don't know, well depth is kind of how many photons can fill up a photo site before they start to bleed out. And that performance isn't actually quite as good as its predecessor. The predecessor, the SI 1290mc, is 14 KE, and this is 11 KE. I don't know if that's killer electrons in the amount of electrons, I guess. If I'm wrong about that, please pop that in the comments below and I'll pin it. But yeah, maybe Killer Electron sounds like a B movie, doesn't it? Wow. Anyway, so yeah, read noise, that's another good thing really. So this has got its predecessor beat. The 462 has got its predecessor beat on the read noise. It's got very low read noise, this camera. It's got read noise of 0.47 to 2.65 compared to 1.0 to 3.2. I'm reading off the screen these specs. I'm not got that good a memory, obviously, but I'll probably pop some graphics in this video as well if I can fit them in between me waving this camera around. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to hopefully leave you with some footage taken with this camera, because I think, you know, if I was watching a video about this camera, even if it's an unboxing, I'd want to see some footage at the end. So that's what I'll do. Okay, I was just setting up to try and capture the ISS as it passes by. The Heavens Above app says it's going to be about 7:20 and it's about 7:15 now. Hopefully these are just passing clouds, but I've not got long for them to clear. I'm all set up with the Heritage 150p to try and hand track using the ASI462mc. I've roughly focused on the moon ready. I've got a sharp cap up and running. I've never tried this before actually, so it is quite an ambitious first light for the 462, but you never know, it's worth a shot. And if that fails, there's always the moon, if it clears a bit later, to do some test shots with. Oh, there it is. Start the capture. Clouds in the way, I can't see it. Just look, I got a glimpse of it, and then the clouds just covering it now. So I'm going to hunt around in the gaps. It's hard enough at the best of times, I should imagine, without having to dodge all this. Come on. Oh, there you go. It's not going to be good. Oh, it's not. I don't know what exposure to use either. How the hell do people image this? How do they do it? No, it's just thin thick cloud now. I'm going to stop that. That was a waste of time. I need to make sure I get rid of that because that's probably filled up my hard drive. Okay, plan B. Once it clears, we'll have a look at the moon. It was worth a shot.